Thank you very much. This week, it's a Critic Lee movie special as we review some films you may have missed over the summer, from a thrilling The Black Phone to a heartwarming story of a family on the rise. But we start by giving top billing to Top Gun and why this biggest movie of the summer is still flying high.
What do we have here?
It's the Top Gun movie of the summer that has risen above all others, as the critics' picks may be the ones you missed.
Doesn't work.
We'll explain why Ethan Hawke's Black Phone really works cinematically, and there's the true story of an unlikely rise.
Do you hoop?
Hoop? Basketball.
But this is the most surprising, exciting, unexpectedly entertaining film of the summer. It's the ones you should have watched, critically speaking, now.
Brace yourself.
Yeah, baby, that puts you in the mood for some movies now, doesn't it? Welcome to Critically Speaking, a show that is all about movies. I am your host, Lee Thomas. And joining me, my main man, movie critic Adam Graham, reviews movies for the Detroit News. Now, my man, this is going to be a fun show because it's all stuff that we both like, right?
Yeah, and it's also going to be a fun show because we get to talk about R again. I'm so excited. The first time we talked about it on the show,
I know.
I felt like we were doing something a little bit different, and I'm really, really happy to continue to blow the horn for this movie. I think the more people who allow themselves to watch it, the more are just going to be blown through the back of their couch.
And Danny DeVito actually in the last week said that he wanted to be in a Bollywood type of movie and that we should do more things that they do in their films and our films, and I agree.
It's a good way forward.
Yes, it is. Speaking of forward, let's jump in, and we start with the biggest surprise at the box office and the most entertaining movie this summer, without any question. They thought the star and producer of the film was crazy. You know this, Adam. Everybody thought Tom Cruise was crazy, but he was actually right. Now, people are buzzing about Top Gun Maverick, the sequel that waited over 34 years to be made, then waited a couple more years to be released. This film made over $1.4 billion so far. That's billion with a B. It also made $1.4 billion since its release on May the 27th of this year. Now, this past weekend, it made number 4 at the box office, pulling in another $4 million after 13 weeks of release. It's still in the top 5. Unbelievable. This is a solid film. And when people realize it, they go to the theater to watch it. It made people come back to the theater. But now you can watch this at home for purchase. I still think this is a good idea. Get some friends together. $19.99, Top Gun in the comfort of your own home. I think people should start dressing up for this one, Adam. I saw it twice, but I would go to a Top Gun themed party if they were playing this movie.
100%. I saw it twice as well. What's great about this movie is it reminded everybody, after not going to the movies for a couple years, what we love about the movies. It's a big screen experience. It doesn't play the same at home. I'm glad that it's at home, but this is the one that you want to go see on the biggest screen possible, with the biggest soda possible, with the biggest popcorn possible, and also with as many friends as possible. This is something that you share with people in your life. You go with your folks, you go with your friends, and you just enjoy the big screen experience. This is a movie that I think is it's inching ever closely to the $700 million mark at the domestic box office, which is going to put it. That would be number 5 all time. It's going to inch past Black Panther in the next week or so. And I don't think anybody saw this big a box office coming for this movie
at all.
But it's just because it did the right things as an audience-pleasing movie. It reminded people what we love about movies, and Tom Cruise was absolutely right to wait to put this thing in theaters until people were ready to return. There was talk that it was going to come out last November. It wouldn't have done what it did because look at House of Gucci came out last November and nobody was going to the movies yet. So this is like the feel-good movie story of the year, and it's also like the feel-good movie of the year. It just reminds us what we love about movies.
But I have to say, with Top Gun We got it out first. We said it's the best of the summer without a doubt.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's been a tough summer. Do you agree with that one?
I do. We're forward first in this show. We thought that Top Gun was going to be this bellwether for what we were going to get the rest of the summer.
People coming back.
It ended up kind of being the whole show, but it was a good whole show to have. We just had to kind of we were picking at scraps the rest of the summer, but it's tough to take away from the huge feel good story that was Top Gun Maverick, something that so many of us had waited so long for and really, really delivered.
All right, speaking of delivering, we shall deliver because
Always.
there may be some movies that you missed this summer. So we picked some films that you may have not seen, but should definitely be on your radar, like this. Remember getting the wheel. See, that was me. You thought it was him, didn't you? It's not. Now, this includes the story of the king, told through the eyes of his infamous manager, played by Tom Hanks. This is Elvis, but we have more to talk about because there's this.
Do you hoop?
Hoop? Basketball.
Yeah, he may have won an NBA championship, but the trailer for this film, it really does an injustice to the movie. Why the story of Giannis Antetokounmpo is much more than basketball, plus 2 other summer picks you may not have thought of seeing. We'll give you the breakdown, critically speaking, next. It is a Critically End of the Summer special. We're talking about movies that we think you should pay attention to that you may have missed over this summer. We have 2 titles each. I will go first. This first movie is the true story of an unlikely superstar's family's rise.
They said I didn't belong. That it was impossible.
Now, you watch this trailer for Rise, which is the name of this film, and you think it's a documentary, but it is absolutely not. It's not about a documentary on Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, this probably is the worst marketing I've seen this summer because the real Giannis is not in this movie at all. It's the story of his family going all the way back to his mother and father leaving Africa and finding their way to Greece and having 2 boys, that's right, 2 that play basketball, and how they both got into the NBA and their trials along the way. Once again, no part of this film is a documentary except for showing the family, the real Antetokounmpo family, at the end. The actors that portray the family, the dad, the mom, all the main characters, they're great. This is a story that's very uplifting that I really enjoyed. Rise is a very good movie, and if you missed it, you have 2 streaming services to watch it on. You can find it on Disney Plus and on Hulu. A good choice. Rise, the story of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, my second pick is a super cute, most creative stop-motion character that I've seen in a while. It's the touching story of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, whose mind wanders sometimes.
Sometimes I find my mind wandering, thinking, what would my family think?
What a cute little voice, right? That's Jenny Slate and, of course, Dean Fleischer Camp. He's in the film, and they created this cute character in their Brooklyn home a decade ago when they were married. Now, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On has over 32 million views when they made a webisode on YouTube, and now he has this movie. This film is simply cute and touching. The character is this one-eyed shell, with shoes on, of course, who has lost his family and now lives with his Nana. Jenny Slate's voice just makes you love Marcel. He is so endearing. Isabella Rossellini plays Nana, his grandmother, in the most loving way. I enjoyed this slow burn of cuteness, is what I call it. I think it made me smile most of the way through the movie. It's like listening to a cute kid who just wants to help everybody. Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is actually still in theaters. And this is not for little kids. It's a PG rating. I would adhere to that because it does get a little sad. But I loved Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It's made about $5 million worldwide so far. So if you find it in theaters, it is a cute watch. Those are my 2 picks, Adam Graham. 2 movies that I just thought maybe didn't get a lot of attention, maybe got mistaken for something else, but are worth the time. What are your 2 picks, my friend?
Nice picks, Lee. My picks, I'm going to start with Elvis. Elvis is about the king of rock. It's Elvis. And it's the kind of sloppy, a little bit messy story about his rise. I acknowledge this movie's shortcomings, especially the performance of Tom Hanks, but I think that when Austin Butler is the focus of the film, like oftentimes director Baz Luhrmann really finds what made him such an exciting performer, zeroes in on his kind of performance style with his crazy pants directing style and just visual flair. And I think that this is a movie that really comes alive. This is a movie that started out a little bit slow at the box office with like $30 million opening weekend, slowly inched its way up to about $150 million at the box office, just showing that people might not have come out the first weekend, but they came out eventually. And I think, like I said, not a perfect movie by any means, but there's a lot of fun to be had in Elvis, and it's available now at home for viewing.
Very nice.
My other pick is The Black Phone. Now this is a horror film about a kidnapping, but it really takes its time. It takes about a half hour at the beginning of the movie just to set the stage. It takes place in North Denver in the late 1970s at a time when people would walk home from school and not be in contact with their parents all day. And where a van cruising through the neighborhood was like the scariest thing possible. Ethan Hawke plays a kidnapper in this movie, but like I said, he doesn't show up until about a half hour in. The first half hour is just all set up, and then it gets scarier from there. Ethan Hawke is really terrifying. You never even see his full face, except for these scenes here where he's playing like this super creepy magician guy. But he plays, he wears this really terrifying mask, and it's about this kid who's stuck in his basement and the souls of the previous victims of this kidnapper who he calls on to help him out of the situation he's in. There's a supernatural element to this story. It's based on a Stephen King short story, and it's a really effective, really well done, scary horror kidnapping film that I think slid a little bit under the radar over the summer. It's available at home now and well worth the time for anybody who wants a scary Friday night at home, maybe not at the movies.
You know, scary movies are tough to me because there's a lot of them. There's almost a new scary movie every week, and a lot of them are B-level movies. But this one had the caliber of actor with Ethan Hawke, and you're saying as well that it really stands up.
It really does stand up, and it's all atmosphere, and it kind of takes you, it takes so much time kind of setting the neighborhood feel that you really feel these characters, where they're living, and the kind of setting, and all that stuff really helps in the storytelling later on. It's those little touches that we often overlook now. When it's go. This is a movie that kind of takes its time, and it's a lot better for it.
Very nice. And I have another movie before we go to break. Another film that is just good and does take its time. It's a story that is well worth it. And it's called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
500 quid for a dress? When I put it on, nothing else matters. My Eddie would love to see me.
All right, a woman saves her hard-earned cash to live out her dreams in the dress of her dreams as Leslie Manville takes the lead alongside co-star Isabella Huppert and Jason Isaac. Now, this is a good date night movie for adults, and you can go or stay home. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is for purchase at home and is in theaters as well. I really enjoyed this film, taken from a book of the same name. Well done movie. When we come back, why a trip to space for Beavis and Butthead is cool and RRR is simply bonkers. Critically speaking, of course. Next. I usually call this the movie watch, but I'm calling this segment What Surprise That You Saw This Summer That Was Completely Unexpected. Flat out entertained you, and for me, it's this movie right here called RRR. Yeah, baby! The action is audacious, the characters are overblown, and dancing and song is simply integrated with the action, and it's all good. This movie is a blast to watch, and there's enough English spoken so that it doesn't feel like a subtitled movie, even though it is. RRR is Tollywood's most popular Western world film. Tollywood, of course, refers to a specific region of India, not Bollywood, but Tollywood. The film is about the fight to overcome colonial power in India, when two great adversaries unknowingly become friends. Now, RRR is just simple joy to watch, and that is a ringing endorsement for a 3-hour and 5-minute movie. The time just flies. RRR can be found right now on Netflix. And Adam, that's my pick, but I want to give you some time on this movie because you're the one that said, hey man, you got to check out RRR to me. I did, I loved it. Good choice. How did you find out about this movie?
Well, I had heard some chatter about it when it was released in March, but around late May or early June, they did a re-release of it. It was like the RRR, the release or something. And I just saw that every time somebody mentioned this movie on Twitter, it would be followed by about 1,000 retweets. So I knew that it had like a really fervent fan base, and I wanted to know what it was all about. I watched it on Netflix. I was worried that I was coming to it late, but there is no way to be late to this party. Everybody is still invited. If you watch this movie, you're part of the RRR hive, and I think it's just something that you want to tell other people about. This is something that I do wish that I would have seen on the big screen, because I think it would just come alive, and with an audience that was like really, really into it, it'd be a lot of fun. But on Netflix, take a chance on this thing, and I think you're really, really going to have so much fun. It might be the most fun movie that I've seen all year. It's just a blast.
It is really.
Both of us just feel happy talking about it.
Because it's so different. It's so different.
It's so different and so much fun.
All right, with the minute we have left, you also have a pick with a surprise of the summer.
I am surprised, Lee, that in 2022, I'm still laughing at Beavis and Butthead. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe came out this summer on Paramount Plus, and I figured, hey, we're just going back to the world of Beavis and Butthead.
Right.
And that's exactly what we're doing, and somehow it's still really funny. This movie had me laughing the whole time. Is it going to change your world? No.
Right.
Are you going to laugh throughout the thing? Absolutely yes. Beavis and Butthead are the 90s icons, are still doing their thing, and this is just a silly, very fun, very stupid, funny movie, which gets my full endorsement all the way.
That was on Paramount Plus. Cool.
Paramount Plus is cool.
Yeah, cool. All right, we should move on before the bosses start watching. We have an honorable mention of a film that we both loved that was released just a few weeks ago, and this one is called Emily the Criminal.
Yes.
How much interest is being added a month?
Yeah, Aubrey Plaza has become known for her comedic skills, but this movie will solidify her acting chops. She performed in this film, Emily the Criminal. You need to take notice. It's about a lady who gets frustrated with her job, prospects, deep in debt, finds big money with small crimes that turn out to be big trouble. Emily the Criminal actually is still in theaters and well worth the watch. When we come back, the new movies we are looking forward to most in this upcoming fall. Critically Speaking next. It's a Critically Movie Special, and now we're talking about the film that we are looking forward to most this upcoming fall. That's from now until about Thanksgiving, not including Black Adam from Dwayne Johnson or Wakanda Forever, the Black Panther sequel. We're not mentioning those movies, those are obvious. But for me, the one that really caught my interest is this film right here. Viola Davis stars in the movie that is based on a real tribe. It's the Agoji female warrior unit of an African kingdom in the Amazon. These ladies really existed, and this movie looks intense. It's called The Woman King. It will be in theaters on September the 16th. John Boyega is also in this movie. It's based on reality. I cannot wait to see this one. Now, this one premieres at the Toronto International Film Festival next Friday. And I know one Adam Graham usually covers that festival well. You're going to be there this time, or are you covering it from home virtually? I don't know how it's happening this year.
I'm not going to be there this year. I wish I was.
Yeah. So we'll still get to get the films and watch it because they're still doing hybrid virtual. And
they'll all be coming here. Yeah.
We'll get them all. Now, you have a pick that you're looking forward to most. What is that one?
My pick on kind of like name and cast alone is Amsterdam. It's the latest from David O. Russell. David O. Russell, I think, is one of the best filmmakers alive. He's taken about 7 years off. He was the one who brought us Silver Linings Playbook.
Yes.
He was the one who brought us American Hustle. He was the one who brought us The Fighter. Now, this movie's cast is crazy. Are you looking at the people in this movie? This stars Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, Chris Rock, Mike Myers, Robert De Niro, Zoe Saldana, Rami Malek, and yes, Taylor Swift as well.
Taylor Swift? Get out of here.
Let's throw Taylor Swift in there as well. So I just, the fact that he's back, he's making a big ensemble period film. I'm just excited to see what this one's about, where it goes, and name recognition alone. I want to see all those people I want to see Robert De Niro and Taylor Swift go head to head. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I was surprised at how many stars are in that film, but
They
I
keep
cannot
coming.
wait. We got to have some good films coming this fall. So
I hope so.
We'll keep sticking with them no matter what happens. I'll keep
We'll
sticking with
be
you, my
here.
man. I appreciate you and you guys, always. As long as they keep making movies, but we'll keep critically speaking about those films, and I thank you for sticking with us. I do want to mention, before we head out, one movie that actually opens new this weekend, Sterling K. Brown, Honk for Jesus, is in theaters right now. I'll see you next weekend.